Hello, friends. Today I'm going to tell you about a movie called Peppermint. Enjoy watching. In the car, the woman disarms the bandit and asks if he remembers her, and then shoots him in the head. She hides the body in the trunk. The next day, the killer climbs into the van, where she has everything she needs to treat a deep cut, including a skin stapler. She treats her wound and discovers a package with an inflatable sled that reminded her how it all started 5 years ago. In the parking lot, Riley North is harassed by the mother of her daughter's classmate. The girl offers to hit her next time so that she will fall behind. The family is barely making ends meet. Riley is constantly missing at work and even had to miss her daughter's birthday, and her husband has business problems. His friend Mickey persuades the man to participate in the robbery of drug lord Diego Garcia to solve his financial problems. No one came to Carly's daughter's birthday. Chris promises his wife that someday everything will change and offers to celebrate the holiday in a warm family circle. At the same time, he left a message to his accomplice that he would not participate in the crime, but Garcia's man was already following the family. The drug lord was distracted from Mickey's torture and ordered Cortez to kill their entire family. Then the leader chopped off Mickey's head with a cleaver. Meanwhile, the family is having fun at the amusement park. They buy mint ice cream. Riley came back for the napkins. The father and daughter approached the car, and at that moment, the Mexicans opened fire. The man and the girl were shot almost at point-blank range. Injured Riley fell on the lawn, crawled to her family, and hugged their dead bodies. She herself was wounded in the head. When the woman regained consciousness, Detective Stan Carmichael came into her room to take a statement. Riley learns from the detective the reason for what happened. The police know who gave the order, but they have no witnesses or evidence. However, there are detained suspects. The woman tried to reproduce that terrible night in her head and remembered the faces of the bandits. At the identification, Riley immediately pointed to number 5, who was the driver. The next 6 suspects came in. There was one shooter among them. The second shooter was also identified. His partner Moises came up to Carmichael and showed him some kind of police badge. This is all that's left of the cop who hunted Diego Garcia. Chris North didn't even rob Garcia. He just thought about it. So Carmichael better stay away from this case. Riley is packing up. She's being evicted from the house. A man in a suit came to her and laid out a bundle of bills. The man suggests that she reconsider her testimony. Later, it turned out that this swindler is the lawyer of 3 bandits, whom she pointed out during identification. The lawyer questions the fact that she could remember their faces in a moving car. She also takes antipsychotics. Besides, after a month in a coma, her memories could be distorted. As a result, the court ruled that there was not enough evidence to prove the guilt of the defendants. Riley had a tantrum. She ran towards the killers, and she was knocked out with a stun gun. The judge insists that the woman be treated in a psychiatric clinic. The only one who wants to help her is Detective Carmichael. We are returning to the present. Carmichael and Moises arrived at the scene of the crime. 3 bodies were suspended by their legs on a Ferris wheel. These are the bodies of the bandits who shot the North family 5 years ago. A woman drove a van into a gun store last night. A partial portrait of her has been compiled. She was also spotted 3 months ago in the port of Los Angeles. In this regard, FBI agent Lisa Inman also became interested in an unusual crime. At the same time, Riley is preparing the entire arsenal that she got in the armory. A bulletproof vest is on. A knife and brass knuckles will also not hurt. The day Riley hit the detective on the head, she robbed the bank where she worked and disappeared with $50,000. 4 months later, Interpol found her in Hong Kong. The woman had significant internal injuries, but even then she managed to escape. Last year, a video was posted on YouTube showing Riley Norton participating in fights without rules somewhere in Europe. She spent the last 3 months in Los Angeles, stole weapons and special equipment from a store, and killed 3 bandits. It was today, 5 years ago, that her family was killed. Riley visited a corrupt judge. She offers a deal. If a man remembers her name, she will only cripple him, but not kill him. Alas, his memory failed him. Riley nailed his hands to the table and wrapped a detonating cord around him. Then the woman took away a toy similar to the one she gave her daughter. "You didn't serve justice, Your Honor, I will," she said before leaving. After getting on the bus, Riley called her mobile. The cord detonated, and the corrupt judge died from the explosion. Carmichael reports that the district attorney and the lawyer at the hearing in the case of the North family were killed last night. The first one was drowned in the pool, and the second one was burned along with the house. The referee was blown up right now. Diego Garcia is being informed of all the murders that Riley has committed. The drug lord announces a bounty on her head, but that's not Garcia's only problem. In a week, he lost 2 loads, and now he is suspected of stealing goods. On the bus, Riley gave a toy to some boy who was traveling with his alcoholic father. She followed the man into the store and laid him on the floor. After finding out his name and address, Riley put a gun in the drunk's mouth and ordered him to become a good father for his son. Otherwise, she will find him and punish him. She threatened the seller with a gun so that he wouldn't sell anything to this guy anymore. She also took his car. Riley disguised herself as a homeless woman to get close to 2 bandits and use a knife with brass knuckles. They guarded the entrance to the building where the gang launders money. They spotted Riley and opened fire. She had to shoot back with a shotgun and move to the first floor. Then a woman takes MP5 from one of the bandits. After killing everyone downstairs, Riley returned to the second floor. Only one was left alive. She learned important information from him and then burned all the money they had. The vengeful woman is all over the news. Garcia realizes that Riley is responsible for the loss of the last supplies and is going to set a trap when she wants to get into the drug lab. With the help of a modern crime tracking system, a detective and an FBI agent hope to calculate her subsequent actions, but nothing came of it. But the programmer shows them that on social networks people support the Avenger, knowing what she went through. After looking at the last photo of the family, Riley took out an assault rifle. A woman broke into the gang's warehouse. Stepping over the tripwire, she saw that the room was mined and ran from here as fast as possible. She was noticed and pressed the detonator, after which the whole building flew into the air. The police received a signal about an explosion at a warehouse in the city center. Riley escaped by jumping into the sewer. She immediately stole a car. The bandits confidently tell Garcia that they killed the woman, but Riley is already following them. Agent Inman arrived in the poorest area of the city, which for some reason was shown in the system as the safest. She started a conversation with a homeless man. He says that even the children here have nothing to fear. There is a guardian angel in the area. Riley blocked the bandits' car. She shot one of them and wounded the other. Garcia learns from the news that Riley North is still alive. She had already driven up to the mansion and, having killed the guards, entered the house territory. While everyone was distracted by the car, she shot the militants with a rifle. After killing 2 more, she got into the room of Garcia's mistress. She did not harm her, but she dealt with several more bandits. Soon, the leader himself had to shoot back. Riley was holding him at gunpoint, but then his daughter entered the room. The woman was distracted, and at this time the Mexican stabbed her several times and then ran away with his daughter. Police sirens were heard immediately. Both Riley and the surviving bandits escaped from the mansion. The woman is barely walking on the highway. The closest was the house of a nasty blonde, which Riley immediately knocked out. After treating her wounds, she came to the kitchen, where the blonde was sitting tied up. Riley says he will set the house on fire with her, but she was joking and only stole her car. At the scene of the massacre, Moises finds out that no one has seen his partner for a long time. He has disappeared somewhere and is not responding to messages. Meanwhile, Detective Carmichael had followed Agent Inman into the poor neighborhood. She had already found a van full of weapons. Inman tells how she will catch the criminal, and her partner walks behind and looks around. The girls started talking about the fact that there is a mole in the police, which Riley has almost figured out. Carmichael came right up to her, apologized and shot her in the chest, and then made a control shot in the head. The corrupt cop immediately called Garcia and told him where to look for Riley. An emaciated woman arrived in a poor neighborhood and passed out in an abandoned warehouse. A bunch of cars with militants drove up here. They started searching the tents with the homeless. Riley had a dream about her daughter, who warned her about the danger. She nailed the first bandit by throwing off the closet from above. She got a pistol and a stun grenade from him. She put the grenade under the corpse. Thus, she stunned 3 bandits and then shot them. Among them was Garcia's right-hand man, Cortez. On the radio, she tells the others to get out of here, leaving her Garcia. Moises feels that the matter is unclean. Agent Inman is also not returning calls. Riley found her body and took her phone and gun. The woman contacted journalists and live shows a corrupt cop who is associated with the cartel. Then she tells about Diego Garcia, who killed her family. She invites reporters and police officers to come here. The bandit grabbed a local girl. Garcia suggests that Riley get out while he counts to 5, otherwise he will kill the girl. The woman had no choice, and she agreed. The wounded woman appeared before the leader. He released the girl. Riley approached Garcia and he began to beat her. She takes some blows on herself and dodges some. She needed to keep him here as long as possible. After a while, the cops arrived. Garcia thought Carmichael had ratted him out and shot the cop. The drug lord escapes through a homeless town, but Riley cuts his way. Having easily beaten the scoundrel, she laid him on his shoulder blades and took away the weapon. The woman pointed the gun at Garcia. Moises asks her to put the gun on the asphalt, but she no longer believes in legal justice, so she shot Garcia in the head. Immediately, the cops opened fire. The woman fell, but then seemed to fall into the ground. Moises doesn't know where Riley is right now, but he knows where she's coming to. The police surrounded her at the cemetery at the grave of her relatives. She asks to let her die and finally meet her husband and daughter. But the woman was saved. Although the public is completely on Riley's side, the sheriff declares that she will answer for all the murders she committed. Moises came to the hospital to check on Riley and removed the policeman from his post. He tells her that he doesn't know a single cop who would do as much to clean up the city as she did, and left the key to the handcuffs in her hand.